Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Sharjah's investment session here at Investopia. Digitization, sustainability, resiliency creates new opportunities for Sharjah to seize. And I'd invite all gentlemen to talk about that in addition in their remarks. So now, Sheikh Fahim, the Department of Government Relations that you chair, and its roles and responsibilities, especially in creating partnerships with other economies.
Fantastic. Thank you all for joining. Good morning, everybody. The Department of Government Relations was established about 8 years ago with quite a broad mandate. Sharjah as an emirate has relations across the world. We have partners from North America all the way to Southeast Asia, whether we talk about investment partnerships with my dear brother Mohamed, whether we talk about cultural relations that we have across the world. We have the 2 leading universities in the country, and therefore we've got educational ties that span the globe. All of my colleagues here today do a lot of hard work in terms of building bridges with entities and countries and cities in every corner of the globe. My job is the overarching strategy, what that means for us as an emirate, what that means for the country, working with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And then, like I always say, I have the easiest job in Sharjah. I get to give the speeches and tell the stories.
All the speeches and stories is a lot of hard work. I'm sure you're being modest. Could you tell us a little bit about the partnerships that you're creating with other cities and how this can facilitate greater investment flows in Sharjah?
There is a lot of hard work that needs to happen. And you need to understand economically, socially, and environmentally how every bit of policy you issue will be received. How it will be received by the nationals and residents that call Sharjah home. How it will be seen by foreign partners, whether investors or countries that we work with. For us, it's really finding opportunities to work on specific projects with the same values. So for example, in the cultural sphere, Sharjah worked with the Vatican Museum. A key priority for us as a country and us as an emirate is interfaith dialogue and tolerance. Now we can share that as a big, broad statement, but on the ground what it meant was developing the first cross-faith exhibition that was ever exhibited in a third country, in Australia, in 2018. When you talk about partnerships with the aviation industry, Sharjah has an airport that hosts 12 million passengers a year, but a lot of what we don't share is how important we are as a private aviation hub. Some of Dubai and Abu Dhabi's largest businessmen have their private planes in Sharjah. Working with partners around the world to build that private aviation hub requires diplomacy, requires a lot of hard work from my colleagues around us. I'm sure as we go around the room, in healthcare, in media, in innovation, and in a broader stroke of FDI, my colleagues will share the same messages. We go out and find cities where we know our investment into those relations will give us economic, social, and environmental returns on any project that we develop together.
Thank you, Sheikh, for those real-life examples. You're right. The megatrends were very abstract, and maybe in this conversation we need to be concrete, so make it real. I saw that Sharjah is signing many memorandum of understanding as a mechanism, maybe, to formalize such partnership. I wondered if you had any thoughts about that as a mechanism to create these relationships.
When we sign memorandums of understanding with other cities that are like Sharjah, cities that are capitals of culture, education, innovation, you know, we like to look at those signings more as a celebration of the hard work that we've done. I'll give you another very concrete example in terms of sustainability and us exporting innovation. Sharjah has the region's leading environmental services company. It's called BIA. BIA today not only manages environmental services in waste management and recycling across the entire country, but they were appointed as the environmental services provider in Medina, in Saudi Arabia, and also in Egypt's new administrative capital in Cairo. You know, those are the stories of success that we share as Sharjah, as an economic and investment hub that is very focused on sectors where we know we compete. And like I say, my colleagues do the hard work. I get to show up for the signings.
Well, thank you. And you brought us to sectors. So I think now's the right time to start to move to gentlemen who have responsibility for different sectors. First, Your Excellency Hussein al-Muhairi, who's responsible for health. Could you please tell us a little bit about the Sharjah Health Authority that you had and its vision and mission and priorities?
First of all, it is my pleasure to be a part of this forum and a part of this discussion, which is very important for Sharjah, for United Arab Emirates, and all the regions, to share the information and also to discuss about opportunities of investment in many sectors. Sharjah Health Authority, established in 2010 by an Amiri decree of His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Mohamed Qassimi, ruler of Sharjah. 2012, Sharjah Healthcare City, established as a free zone and as an investment arm of Sharjah Health Authority. In Sharjah Health Authority, we work together with the other authorities in the United Arab Emirates, like Dubai Health Authority, like Department of Health in Abu Dhabi, and with the Ministry of Health and Prevention. So the healthcare sector in UAE in general has a government sector and a private sector, and collaboration between both of these sectors give the benefits and get its work in an efficient way. Our mission in Sharjah Healthcare City is to establish Sharjah as the most preferred healthcare destination for the region. And we work together with all the entities in Sharjah to base our position in this region. And when we are talking about the foundation of healthcare in Sharjah, we have a solid foundations. Sharjah has been accredited as the first healthy city by the World Health Organization in 2015. And it is the first healthy city in the Middle East and the region. We are very proud to have been nominated and accredited, and we were the spark for all other cities in the region to follow us to be a healthy cities in many sectors. And the good thing that in 2021, we have been re-accredited again as a healthy city and as the first city to be re-accredited with a full mark of 100%. So we are very proud about our achievement in the health sector. And when it comes to the investment, we are welcoming all kinds of investment in Sharjah Healthcare City. It works as a free zone. It is 100% ownership, 100% tax-free, and single window services. All kinds of investment can be accepted within the limits and within the scope of Sharjah to be as unique and as humanity and affordable healthcare services for all the people in the UAE and the GCC country and the region.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Congratulations, first of all, for being accredited as a healthy city and re-accredited. So how is Sharjah thinking about attracting, facilitating more investment following the pandemic to prepare and to be ready for these kinds of challenges?
Well, the pandemic of COVID-19, it affected all the world, not only United Arab Emirates or Sharjah in precise, if we are talking about Sharjah only. What we faced in Sharjah during the pandemic and the COVID-19, that there is a great demand of personal protective equipment. For example, the mask, the gloves, the sanitizers. Since Sharjah has the largest industrial area, many line of product has been shifted and changed from production of such kind of products, any other kind of things which are normally used in the normal days, shift their line of products to produce gloves, masks, and sanitizers. And that helps Sharjah and the United Arab Emirates to have a local products which can be used in quality and also in quantity. Many countries suffered from having shortage of this, and especially who works in the medical field. How can you treat people when you don't have a sufficient equipment? This is just an example, but one of the most important thing is about research and development. Research about the vaccinations, about new modalities of treatment, and about how the outbreaks of pandemics can affect people in many levels. So what we need now, I think, to collaboration and to work together and to see the best modalities of establishing research and development, especially in the healthcare sector.
Your Excellency, could you please tell us a little bit about the Sharjah Research Technology and Innovation Park that you head? What is its role, vision, priorities, and how can investors get involved?
Thank you very much. So the main objective of the Sharjah Research and Technology is really to accelerate the pace of innovation in different industries, whether we're talking about production, design and architecture, or water technology, or transport and logistics, or digitization, or environmental technologies. And we do this through four main activities. The first one is to develop an innovation ecosystem which allows innovation to accelerate and to foster. And those has two elements. One is the hard infrastructure that we are talking about, buildings and labs. And the soft infrastructure, we are talking about the right legislation, the right IP policies, the right commercialization mechanism, funds, etc. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the development of talents. We talk about innovation, technologies, but we don't really emphasize enough on talents. So one of the main objectives of SRTIP is really to develop the next generation scientist with a commercialization mindset, is to develop the next entrepreneurs that focuses on industries, and we do this hand in hand with academia, with private sector, and with government. The fourth objective is really developing technologies, whether we're importing technology and scale them up here, or to take technologies from universities and commercialize them. And at the moment, for example, we are working on 4 technologies related to hydrogen, fuel efficiency, to conductive concretes, to material science, additive manufacturing, and last but not least is to create enterprises, to create ventures that allows for enterprises to thrive. So those are the 4 main areas of focus for the Sharjah Research and Technology Park. We've been very fortunate to manage to execute some cutting-edge technologies on the ground. Today, the park hosts one of the largest additive manufacturing and 4th industrial revolution labs in the park. Probably we are the only place in the country where you can print metal for oil and gas, and for automotive. You can print concrete, so we print villas out of and plastic as well. So that's something that we are also trying to expand and become a reference for both industries and academia. We have also developed labs for things like virtual reality and augmented reality, metaverses, and this is again something that we can bring to the table. When we talk, for example, for healthcare, we have established what we call Longevity Hub, Middle East Longevity Hub, and the whole idea is to tackle topics like genome sequencing and related topics. So these are the type of technologies today we work with, and this is basically a basic translation of the UAE agenda for becoming the center for advanced industries. So Sharjah Research and Technology Parks work hand in hand with Dubai Future Foundation, with Masdar and other organizations to fulfill the overall UAE objective.
Thank you for sharing all those concrete examples in very specific areas. It's very exciting what's happening in technology today, printing concrete,
yes,
genome sequencing, and so forth. At the World Economic Forum, we try to support very much the technologies of the 4th Industrial Revolution, working closely with the UAE in this area. And I just wanted to share, we did a survey of investors. We asked them, what do they need to invest more in technology? And they told us the most important thing is talent, exactly as you said. Could you please give me some more examples of the exact sectors that you think are the technology sectors of the future where you would invite investors to consider investing? Which are the 5, shall we say, top sectors if you were talking to an investor and welcoming them to Sharjah?
My reference is what the UAE as a country identify. Healthcare, I think, is a big sector that is evolving, and I think the UAE did very well with COVID, that today we have exercises in Abu Dhabi related to vaccine development and other exercises. I think in our case, we've managed early, very early, like 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, to use 3D printing to print face shields. So we, in collaboration with an existing company, we printed more than 4 million pieces of those. And some of them were expanded outside to the US and other places. So I think healthcare is a good, I think it's an industry that is thriving, and I think everybody's no-brainer at this stage. I think transport and logistics is an area that we are very also proud to have one of the largest transport and logistics innovation center in the world. So at the park, we are testing next generation train technology, which is much more sustainable, much more cost effective. I think agriculture, for us here in the region is a very key area, that we also have R&D center around hydroponics and aquaponics. So those are the areas, I think: healthcare, agriculture technologies, transport, and I think, of course, digitization and the whole fintech, fintech and NFTs and others for those who want to make quick money.
Thank you, Your Excellency. So for any investor that's listening, health tech, transport tech, agri-tech, just a few that he's mentioned. And I think now we turn very naturally to His Excellency Mohamed Al-Musharrkh, who's responsible for invest promotion. He's the CEO of Invest Sharjah. So could you please react a little bit and share your responsibilities in Invest Sharjah, attracting the next generation of investment?
Sure. Well, thank you so much, Stefanos. Invest in Sharjah is actually the investment promotion agency of the Emirate of Sharjah. We promote Sharjah internationally for investors. We do help investors to come and invest in the UAE in general and Sharjah specifically within different areas, whether they are the free zones or to invest within the ecosystem that we have out of the free zones. As you know, we have currently new legislations in the UAE when it comes to owning the companies out of the free zone, where we have a new foreign ownership law where foreigners can own their companies out of the free zones 100%. And I think that this is a game changer when it comes to attracting investments in the whole region. And then here I think we have a competitive advantage when it comes to promoting the UAE in general and definitely Sharjah. When we came from the COVID break, let's call it, looking at what happened during the COVID, the shortage in the supply chain, the focus on healthcare, let's say, the dependency on technology that we witnessed actually during a short period of time made us rethink of the sectors that we have to focus on. So going back maybe to your question to Mr. Hussein, I think we as an emirate, we took actually the initiative to bring one of the international consultants and then work with the colleagues from the private sector as well as the government sector in the Emirate of Sharjah to redefine these sectors. So I think agro-technology is something that we are really focusing on attracting in. Then logistics and transportation, and here I go to the location of the Emirate of Sharjah. When you look at the map of the UAE, we are in the middle connecting Abu Dhabi and Dubai to the rest of the Northern Emirates. We have one international airport, which is Sharjah International Airport. Then we have 3 different ports. And we are the only emirate which has pockets on both the Arabian Sea and the Indian Ocean. So this gives us also a competitive advantage when it comes to logistics and transportation. And then we are also looking at tourism. We are focusing more on archaeological tourism, on medical tourism. We are focusing on ecotourism as well. So this is one of the sectors that we are really focusing on nowadays in the Emirate of Sharjah. And then entrepreneurship and human capital is something that we are also looking at. We have 5 different entities that looks after entrepreneurship today. We have Shara', which is Sharjah Entrepreneurship Center, which is based in the American University in Sharjah, and then they have their new offices at the Research and Technology Park. They have different programs for entrepreneurs from the UAE and out of the UAE, and they also encourage entrepreneurs to come and invest in the UAE. Then we have a special program also for UAE nationals, which is called Rawad, and Rawad is also entrepreneurs in English. Then we have a special program that focuses on women entrepreneurship as well, which is part of Sharjah Businesswomen Council. And then we have a special program which is called Business 101, and this is an initiative by Sharjah Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So these are the sectors that we are really focusing on and trying to attract a lot of investments in currently.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for that very concrete, strategic answer. Let me turn to our last distinguished speaker, Your Excellency Shihab Al-Hammadi, who's the head of the Sharjah Media City. And we know how important media is in all of these areas, but media is defined more broadly than just traditional media. So, Your Excellency, could you tell us a little bit about your responsibilities and vision?
Well, thank you first for having us in here. It's a good opportunity actually to share what everyone's participating in the economy of Sharjah and in the Emirates in general. First, of course, Sharjah Media City, Shams, was established because of a need in the market. There was an intention to build some kind of economy that actually brings on people who are starting up business in the media industry. We wanted to focus on having packages or licenses for companies or one-man companies actually to be able to start doing their own business and establish their own existence in the market, being a freelancer or being a small company that's trying to grow up. And in the same time, when we started actually establishing the whole infrastructure of the system that we're providing, we found out that there is a bigger need in the technology aspect of the business where media is actually based on essentially. So what we wanted to have is a platform that can actually make people have easy access to the market, and actually also, in addition to that, build some kind of an ecosystem for all the companies to participate and work together and have an existence in Sharjah as media free zone is their platform actually. We wanted it to be the first user-friendly, let's say, platform where you can establish a company in one go, in one setting, and on your PC. And of course, there will be some other requirements that would also be required for later, but as much as we could, we had everything done online, including the KYC and all the verification processes. So that's where we benefited the most when the pandemic hit, because we were already providing an online and a fully automated online solution for companies, and we kind of sensed the need for companies who actually were downsizing and moving from more costly, let's say, environments or economic situations to a lower cost, and I believe they found Shams is the best next alternative. So we actually had a good demand during the pandemic because of such initiative that we started earlier. Generally, we focus on media companies and providing activities that supports media in general, but we also have activities that focuses also on technology and add more value to the services that media companies would require, such as financial and IT in general, and human resources and all of the rest. So we had that kind of an overall ecosystem in place where people can come in and find work right away. So that's basically one of the, let's say, directions that Shams is working on.
Fantastic. And now with COVID and the move to virtual, I suppose more and more investors are interested in Shams. So any entrepreneur that needs to get strong on their virtual capabilities and e-commerce capabilities, media capabilities, should come knocking to you.
Well, I believe so. And I think we are providing support also, not only giving a license or an establishment of a company, but also supporting on the go. Once the company has actually got their license, we do support them with projects, and we already initiate projects where people can come in and join into those projects and start their business with an actual profit, if you can say. So yeah, we are looking into multiple let's say technologies that is emerging in the market, and we wanted to have some objectives only related to the fourth industrial revolution, where we wanted to be the first to approach a platform that is fully based on blockchain, and we are in the process of issuing a cryptocurrency payment for the licensing. So, and it's going to be within 2 months actually available. And so yeah, we are trying to catch up with the system, and of course the technology is advancing so much. I know that the SRTI is focusing on advanced technology, but we are trying to benefit from the available technology and actually be prepared for the next technology to come up.
I would like to invite each distinguished speaker to share their final thought, because it's often useful to share one last sentence, and we'll go around in the same order, the message they want to leave us with.
When you're looking at investing, deploying CapEx in the United Arab Emirates, don't overlook Sharjah. The opportunities are rife, the city is growing, and the talent is there.
Thank you. Your Excellency.
This is my message. We need international collaborations for all the mankind in healthcare sector. What we need in UAE, other countries may need it. Other regions, they don't have the resources, but maybe we have it, so we can collaborate to share all the information and logistic things. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would say if you are in technology and innovation, of course the key for this is talents. Sharjah is the home of talents, the home of education. We host the largest university city in the region, and I think this is where you should base your business if you are in technology.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Yeah, my message would go to the investors. Sharjah is open for business. Sharjah is an easy destination to do business. We have recently launched our Sharjah Investor Service Center, a one-stop shop for investors and for those who would like to open businesses, whether it's onshore or in one of the free zones. We are there to facilitate and make your investments easier.
Your Excellency.
My message would be there is always a chance for a new technology, a new opportunity in the market. We don't want to wait for the next 10 years and say, well, I wish that I had the urge, or someone encourages me to actually go and invest. It's always the time to invest, and it's always the time to start something new, because so it's always something always is new and is happening. So I think you just take a step forward and wait and see what happens.
So if I could just summarize in one word each, investors are welcome. They need to collaborate. We need collaboration. This will grow our talent. Sharjah is open for business, and let's look to the future in the new sectors. So thank you, everyone, for your attention. Looking forward to working with all of you, even beyond this session.
Thank you for having us.